Hi Aquarius, welcome to your fortnight forecast for the next 2 weeks with me, Raphael. I just want to say a massive thank you so much for all of your support throughout 2022, and I will say that again later on. For your keys to the fortnight, you have the Wheel of Fortune and the Empress. These are two blessing cards, right? The Wheel of Fortune brings you not only blessings and amplification of things, but it also brings you luck. This is the lucky break. This is also it's a card of being in the right place at the right time. So over the course of this next fortnight, play the lottery, right? Put a little 10, 5 quid, dollar, whatever it is that your currency is, put a little bet down. Especially because you've got this with the Empress, and the Empress is about abundance. It's about good resources, and it's about growth and fertility. This is amplification and luck around resources or materials in some way, shape or form. So I love this for you. What it also suggests as well, for some of you, this could be potentially an idea that you are formulating or a project that you're working on that is actually going to grow and expand in ways that you can't yet see. What it does suggest as well is over the course of this fortnight, things are going to be good. This is telling you to basically eat, drink and be merry. This is a time where you get to kind of look back over the year that you've had to really sort of reflect on that and understand where things are going. This week, I really feel for a lot of you, you could be getting not even a glimpse of your future, because this isn't the star card, but you could be getting a bird's eye view of things, and there might be just a much greater sense of levity that is surrounding you at the moment. So you could feel like really buoyant and, you know, just really kind of like, yeah, you know what, things are actually good in my life at this moment in time. So I really love this for you, and it actually suggests to me that the holiday season is going to be a good one. All right, so use it or lose it, honey. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your actions and options, you've got the Ace of Wands. So this is you starting something, even though obviously this is a time of rest and recuperation and all the rest of it. There is something that you're working on. There's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of joy, there's a lot of pleasure and enjoyment that's happening for you over the course of this fortnight. That Ace of Wands as well means that you are getting started on something. So while everyone else is kind of, you know, sat on the sofa, you know, indulging and all the rest of it, you're busy beavering away at something. There's something that you're working on. There's an idea that you're having, that you're formulating, that you're piecing together, and you're doing this and it's actually feeling like fun to you. It's not a chore. It's not, you know, ugh. For a lot of you, this could be a time where you're getting deeply creative, where you're putting pen to paper in some way, shape or form. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Five of Cups. Okay, so there's a few ways that this might show up for you. Remember, the Five of Cups, you know, I'm sorry to say, but it is a card of loss. But this is one way that this could show up. This could be news from somebody either overseas or potentially, you know, this could be some bad news that comes in from overseas. It could also be that one of the paths that you're trying to take something down is closed to you at this time. And so if you're traveling, if you're planning to travel, do be mindful that you may get stranded. It could be as well for some of you, let's say you've invited family over and, you know, they're supposed to be coming to stay for a day or whatever. This might actually be where that doesn't go ahead. I'm really sorry to say that, but it is a possibility. However, there's still a lot of laughter, there's still a lot of light, there's still a lot of joy here. That Five of Cups as well, it may, because the Five of Cups can also be about overindulgence. So you might be having a conversation with somebody who, you know, expresses that actually they have a bit of a problem when it comes to, you know, drinking, alcohol, smoking, sex, whatever it is. So this could be a conversation that you have with someone where they highlight that they have an overindulgence problem. It may also be that somebody highlights that to you and says, listen, you know what, I think you're drinking too much, or we've got to get your diet in check, stroke, or, you know, like something like that. It doesn't have to be like world ending. It doesn't have to be death. Sometimes it can literally just be that. Now, because this is in your communications and conversations as well, this may be where potentially a collaboration comes to an end, whatever that means to you. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I will say this: if some kind of funding, if you find out that some kind of funding, money or resources is no longer available to you, don't worry about it. It will be replaced by something that's actually much better for you. So let's say you applied for a loan and the loan application comes back and it's declined, but then you find out you can get a grant, right? The difference between a loan and a grant is, well, a loan you have to pay back, a grant you just get. So, you know, like whatever avenue is closed to you over the course of this next 2 weeks, do not worry about it, do not fret about it, because something much better that's going to come with less strings will be right behind it. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this could be, maybe you love your job, maybe you love what you do, maybe you love the way that you get to do it. Something about your job role or your job specifics might be changing. I wouldn't be surprised as well if somebody is leaving your job, like, so maybe like a boss and a supervisor leave and it creates 2 new positions, which may create an opening for you. All right, so that's the feeling that I get from this 2 weeks is going to bring you some kind of shift or change, but it's like the moment you kind of start thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening, something good comes in to replace it. And so for those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, whatever shows up for you that is challenging over the next fortnight, don't worry about it. Why? Because it's going to kick you into overdrive, and it looks like you end up creating something that is way better than anything that you might have lost or had to let go of. All right, so again, don't fret. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, especially for those of you that are of age, there is a possibility here that it could be some bad news, especially if you've got people that live overseas or that live quite a distance from you. All right. Another way that this could show up as well. This is, I almost kind of like, there's a part of me that's like hearing the words laughing through the pain. So it's kind of like maybe a situation arises in the family and you're just like, you just start cracking jokes because you're like, well, what else are you going to do, right? I refuse to cry, so I'm just going to laugh. For your love and relations, you've got the Judgment card. Okay, so yeah, this is potentially, if somebody is passing, I touch wood, and I really hope I'm wrong on this front, it'll be somebody that's old. It will be somebody that is, you know, well into their 70s, 80s. It's not going to be, you know, somebody that's young, and it's not going to be a surprise. You know, death is always a surprise, even when you know it's coming. I think it's just because it's so final, right? Outside of that, what I really love about this, and I genuinely feel this is the case for a lot of you, the Judgment card with the Ace of Wands, this suggests that through a tough conversation, you could lay an old issue to rest, right? So forget the death stuff, that's one possibility. But this does suggest, let's say you've had a problem with a family member, let's say you've had a problem with a sibling, maybe you've had an issue with an uncle or an aunt. Through like some laughter and potentially some hard conversations, you might end up mending a rift or bringing back together you know, a part of your family or connection that you once had to somebody could be mended now. And that could be really, really nice. Remember, the Judgment card is always a call to action, but it's a call to action that creates big change in relation to something that's happened in the past. So I kind of always see this as like you're integrating an old lesson. And so you could be treading old ground in a conversation, but you could be coming out of it much better. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this could literally be you and your significant other. This could be where you finally kind of get clear on, where do our goals intersect? Even if we've got different jobs, different industries, we believe different things, where is the crossover point? And I feel like that's the case. I feel like you and your significant other are both at a crossroads right now. And it's like, this is the perfect time for you guys to say, okay, well, I'm at a crossroads, you're at a crossroads. Where do the things that we want meet in the middle? For those of you that are single, I would not be surprised if you're hearing from an ex, somebody from your history, somebody from your past, especially for those of you that are ascendant Aquarians, because remember, Mercury's just going retrograde in the sign of Capricorn at the end of this week. And that for you literally represents your 12th house, which is the past. You've also got Mars retrograde in the sign of Gemini, which for you is the 5th house, which is love, sexuality, romance, pleasure, all the rest of it. So I would not be surprised if for all Aquarians, but especially for those of you that are ascendant Aquarians, I would not be surprised if you hear from an ex around this time. Maybe you get the I miss you text, maybe you just get like a random, you know, oh, Merry Christmas. It's like, I'm sorry, where the hell did you get my number? I haven't spoken to you for 5 years. You know, maybe they reach out on social, who knows? But just a possibility. Outside of that, you could be talking to someone at this time and you could just be like, you know what, like, you're not taking it seriously. you're really not, right? That Ace of Wands, you just kind of, I feel like Aquarians are going to be that, you know, that annoying person that's just always smiling, always happy, always laughing. That's going to be you for the next fortnight, and nobody else around you is going to understand it. Fuck them. For your money and materials, you've got the 10 of Wands. Okay, so here, so you've got the 10 of Wands. You've also got the Wheel of Fortune, which is number 10. 2 10s represents change, and it's usually big change at that. This is going to be an upswing in your finances. It may potentially be as well, just because we've got to call a spade a spade, it may potentially be where you are having to, maybe you are releasing a financial burden. So for some of you, this could be maybe you're paying off a debt. Maybe you are getting rid of a service that just kind of isn't worth paying for anymore. This could also be for some of you where you're choosing to consolidate your finances. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the 10 of Wands for me is always your lower back, and that tends to have a lot of stuff around money and finances. And I actually think even with the 5 of Cups above it and the 10 of Wands here, I feel like this is you moving into a much more abundant mindset, and I feel like this is you also letting go of some kind of financial worry or burden, which is great. So I'm going to stand by what I said, play the lotto. All right, and then when it comes to your home and environment, this is where it does get a little bit tricky, and there is a potential, because you've got the 5 of Cups here with the 10 of Wands. If you're going to have any problems with the home, it's likely to be something to do with either the plumbing or the water, or like it's either going to be the plumbing or the water, and that's the 5 of Cups talking, or potentially, I mean, the 10 of Wands would usually be like earth stuff. So if you've got like a back garden or a front garden, etc., you might have a problem with that, so just be careful. All right, outside of that though, this is going to be quite an interesting, and I feel potentially quite profound 2 weeks. And I think what it's showing you more than anything else is how when your attitude and your energy are happy, everything is surmountable. All right, with that said, if you want to get your winter solstice seat, you can do that on the link in the description box below. From my heart to yours, I just want to say a massive thank you so much for all of your support throughout 2022 and beyond. For those of you that have been with me longer, it really does mean the absolute world to me, and I just can't thank you enough for helping me get to this stage of my life and my career. It really does mean the absolute world. If you celebrate Yule, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, or even Eid, whatever it is that you do or don't celebrate, from my heart to yours, I truly hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Celebrate well, love each other good, and I will see you in the new year. Take care, and I'll see you soon.